Hey everyone, welcome to the Four Streamers podcast. This is episode 2, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about communities, something that I've been kind of battling with for the last maybe 2 months, and whether to join communities and what they can provide me that I can't provide myself is kind of the underlining argument that I would want to elicit to everyone listening. That's just my position on it, but the idea is that I kind of see a lot of these communities that kind of invite you to join their streaming Twitch communities, that they provide you with a sense of community in the sense of numbers, that hey, there's a lot of members here, so you're gonna get a lot of hosts or follows or viewers by being in the community, but they don't provide enough in terms of, I guess you can call, depth of followers and depth of viewers. The biggest thing that I want to provide is that in my case, I would rather have 5 viewers that I know deeply and I know in a more intimate and more personal level than to know 500 followers that I don't know in a more deeply, in a more that I barely know them, right? I think that community, going back to how villagers, people in the smaller countries and the smaller neighbors, I guess you can call them, neighborhoods, you don't have 500 neighbors. You just have the few that are around you, down the street or beside you, left and right. You know them more deeply than you do the other 500 people that are in your small community. So I think that in terms of community, it's not about the numbers, the amount of numbers you have. It's more about the amount of people that you have a deep connection with. But that's just my stance on it. I feel like it should be talked about a little bit more. I hate to see that there are hundreds of communities out there, and every streamer wants to create a new community for their channel, and I want to make it so that people understand. I guess for me myself, right, like kind of explaining how I want to handle my streaming things. My stream is to build a community centered around connection with people, and I care more about the people than the amount of followers or the amount of people that are in my Discord or are in a Facebook group of mine. I care more about the individual itself. Not to say that these communities don't. It's just that, where I kind of build myself around. So that's probably the question that I have to impose to the guest that I have today. I'll be bringing that up later on, and everybody that's in chat right now, you can answer that as well. And at the end of the stream, we're going to provide a Q&A section so that you guys can ask questions about your stream and kind of ask questions about any kind of topic in general. So with that being said, I believe I'm ready to bring in our first guest. So our first guest today is going to be JenniNexus.
Hi friends, thanks for having me on.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming by. I apologize that we had some issues with Discord and handling all of the permissions and stuff like that. I'm not sure what that was or what issue that was, but we're here. So thank you so much, Jenny. How are you? How's everything going?
Pretty good, things. Just pretty excited about this, and always learning something new. Usually every day is something new while streaming and learning and stuff. So the Discord is just one of those many things to know more about.
Exactly. So tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I'm a full-fledged adult. I'm in my 30s, and I've been gaming for most of my life. And I took a break for a while from being a computer nerd because I was busy and gypsying around the country and stuff. But for the last 6 years, I've been learning 3D modeling and game development skills using Unity and 3D Max.
And is that it? Is that all you do?
Oh, well, in addition to game development streams, I also like to stream like PlayStation 4 games and Steam games, indie games. Quite the variety. I like to play a little bit of everything, but I'm always doing it with the perspective to learn about the game design and analyzing how to do like level design or different aspects like mechanics and physics, and trying to improve my gaming skills as well.
That's awesome. I've been in your stream a few times, and I've noticed one of them you were making a little elevator in like a little cathedral. So how many games have you made?
Well, my mentor, who has been making web games for like 15 or 20 years, he's been teaching me for the last 6 years, and I made two dress up games in 2014, really simple Flash games, and that was my first introduction to making my own game. But it wasn't until last year that I made my first WebGL game, and I streamed the entire creation of that. It's called Blue Balls, and
Oh, that's
we
cool,
did
man.
like the we 3D modeled the entire scene and animated the character and stuff. And it's a really short game. You just have to run around a nightclub and shoot pumpkins before the time is up because it was around Halloween. Yeah, our most current project is even more exciting though. My partner is doing the programming for a VR game called Purgatory Fell, and I get to help with some of the things like the elevator you were talking about.
Yeah,
Where, you use like an elevator type of thing goes underground in a sanctuary church scenario, and but yeah, that'll be our first VR game, and so it's all a lot of like new territory for both of us, and really exciting, and lots to learn all the time.
that's really cool. I like that. I like Twitch for the simple fact that there are a lot of variety. There's a lot of a variety in terms of what you can find to watch. Even people like and just in terms of character, someone that plays Fortnite, there's like 100 channels that play Fortnite, maybe even more, but you find different characters and different people that do that. Where in your case, you have a great amount of character, and you also have a great amount of interest in what you're doing, so you provide that to your viewers as well, which is really great. I'm really happy about that. So how long have you been streaming for?
Well, I was a viewer since 2013. I made my channel, but it wasn't until January of 2017 that I had enough equipment that I thought I would be able to offer a quality stream. So I had like finally a good quality laptop and microphone and camera and everything. So I've been at least part time consistently since 2017.
So about a year and a half, a year and a month, almost.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I like three streams before that since 2013.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Um, so who are the streamers that you enjoy really like to watch? Because you said you're a viewer. What kind of streams have you watched prior to streaming that kind of got you to want to actually stream?
Well, my taste really ranges with the streamers that I watch because I like watching creative streams, and I actually wrote down a list of some of my favorite streamers, so I'd be ready for this question. Skyhook and Nadia Dragonborn are two of my favorite creative streamers.
All right,
One of
I'll have
them,
to check them out.
oh, sorry, what?
I'll have to check them out. That sounds cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Skyhook is like a traditional artist, and she does painting and drawing, and Nadia does crochet.
Oh,
And I really like game analysis channels. Shooter Q and Extra Credits are two examples, and then of course game development streamers that usually I'm always learning from them. Like Windy Beard, Honest Dan, and Starlight Skies are a few of my favorites.
usually when because last week we had a few guests here that mentioned some streamers, and I actually went and checked them out as well. And yeah, they were really interesting. So I'll have to check yours as well. Since you started streaming, can you recall a moment that really made you happy that you started?
I'd say that all around it's been an awesome experience. I can't think of like one particular moment that really stood out as much as just kind of going from living in a small town where we didn't really have too many nerdy computer like nerds around and like game developers. And that was when I was living in Northern California for 6 years.
Oh yeah,
And I got kind of lonely out there, so Twitch kind of helped bridge the gap between myself and the techie society out there. And now we live about 30 minutes away from Seattle, so we're a lot closer physically to other streamers and developers. But
that's
Twitch has
awesome.
been just awesome ever since.
Yeah, so you kind of get connected to people better, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they even have this Seattle online broadcasters meetup. I just went to my first one recently, and there was over 100 streamers there, and it was so cool. And I never imagined meeting so many streamers at once. It was kind of like TwitchCon, but our own local area.
That's cool. I like that. I gotta do that with myself with actual Toronto streamers. I think there's probably maybe 100 and more streamers here in Toronto that I have to really get in contact with and actually do the same thing. But yeah, I gotta find where they are, like what websites or whatever they go to. Have you had any problems with streaming in the last little bit that you streamed in the last year?
Um, for the Toronto thing, I would recommend the meetup.com site and see what's out there. But if there isn't already a streamers group, I would love to hear if you start one on your own and the people that you meet.
For sure.
um, but as far as problems goes, I'd say I've had every technical problem that can go wrong has gone wrong at some point or another. And even like maybe every stream, I might have something that goes wrong, but usually it has something to do with using like having the right microphone set or like accidentally leaving myself muted or um one time I was playing VR chat somewhat recently, and this thing happened that was like you know how it's a multiplayer game and people can import their own content. So this one
Yeah.
character had a particle effect on his character, but he had a bunch of dick pics on his particles. So
Uh,
I was shocked and surprised, and I didn't know what to do, and I had to shut the window as fast as I could. But it took me a minute to like register what was happening. So I got really nervous and like flustered, and like my computer started to crash because of all the particle effects. But I
oh,
couldn't, yeah, I couldn't close it fast enough. It was so embarrassing.
well,
That's probably the worst thing.
well, it's a good thing that you won't get banned for it. Like Twitch specifically says that nudity can be on the stream. It just doesn't have. It can be the central point of the game. Like it, you know. But that's good that you reacted and took it out right away. So what are some ideas that your viewers can look forward to in the future?
Well, I would like to do some more like collaborative ideas. There's one of my favorite dev streamers, Hardly Difficult. Sometimes during game jam weekends where people scramble, they'll make teams and make a game in a weekend. And he does this really cool thing where he implements artwork that his viewers create. And so it's like a collaboration that he gets to do with his viewers. And I would really like to do something like that. Lately I've been mostly like focused on getting back. You know, like we moved last September, so we're finally settled in and everything. But you know, next time I have a chance to take a break or do more stuff that's just for fun, like I would love to do more collaborations with viewers. um, and I'm just going through all the classic games that I like, and either I've already played them or I haven't had a chance to play them. But like the PS4 games and some of the classics that I haven't finished. I'm still working on the Half Life series.
Yeah, I never played the Half-Life series. I never got to. Okay, cool. So my topic for today for this week was the idea of community and how communities help you with your growth in your channel. I kind of had I guess the negative side of it where I feel like it didn't help or didn't work or doesn't work. What's your opinion about it? How do you feel about Twitch communities and the plethora of Twitch communities out there? What's your stance? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I guess I found the one Facebook group. I forget. It's like Twitch.tv streamers. It's the biggest one. It's got like 30,000 people in it.
Yeah,
But when I found them last year, it was maybe 20,000 people in there. There was a lot, but It seemed to be really helpful for if I had questions, and I noticed a lot of people getting help, like if they have actual questions about like how to fix a problem or how to set something up. And it was really nice to see when people do support each other and give each other friendly advice and like encourage each other. And since then, I think I've joined maybe like 10 other communities on Facebook alone. Um, but I guess it's definitely not only about the numbers, because even if you have a lot of followers, it doesn't mean that you'll have like quality viewership. And from what I understand, you need 75 concurrent viewers just to get partnership.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I'm quite a ways from reaching. And I agree with you that it's more important to have like a handful of dedicated viewers that it's quality interaction and that encouragement and support more is more important than having a bunch of like bots sitting in your chat not really talking about anything. But it would be cool to be a partner one day. Might still be quite a while, but it's I think just one of those achievements to look forward to.
Yeah, so that goes on to like what I was saying about I'd rather have three people that I know deeply than 300 that I know deeply, or that I barely know, rather, right? I think it's if you build connection with people more than having a number set to your account, you you bring back the people that were that came that one time, and you know you build a connection with them. I have a few followers that I talk to outside of Twitch, and Skylar is one of them that I talked to last night actually. You know, we communicate and we talk about life beyond Twitch, and we talk about how we want to, you know, handle our things and what our interests are. And I think that's like way more important than any kind of number that you can slap onto your stream. Um, in the end, you still need, you know, the 50 followers for affiliate, the 3 viewers for affiliate, or the 75 concurrent viewers over the last 30 days for your partnership, you know, and the hours, not to mention, right? But the idea is that because you have so many people that you're deeply connected to, you're able to bring them back, you know, week after week. So that's what I'm really trying to aim for on my channel, and I think that everyone should really aim for it in their channels as well, right? But but
I agree.
yeah, well, thank you so much for coming by. It really means a lot. I hope that you get something out of this as much as I do. Do you have any questions about streaming? Anything that you would like to have answered, maybe?
I guess I'm curious to hear how other people feel about the community, uh, how to make a valuable community, and what makes a community uh, like real supportive, as opposed to like how there's just a bunch of communities, but like what could be something that could what sets a community apart from the others and makes it unique and makes it actually successful. Because if there are a ton of communities out there, what would make one better than the other? I'm curious because I don't really know.
Yeah, so yeah, like it's another thing too, like if you have 100 communities that have 1,000 members and you just combine them all together, then you have one big community of 100,000 people, and everybody in those communities follow each other. Now everybody has 100,000 followers, and then every viewer, every person um, that follows now goes and watches each stream whenever they can. Now you have um, you have 100 viewers on at a time. I feel like it divides us more than it joins us, but I don't know. That's just my position on it. So is it okay if I talk about your channel a little bit and kind of maybe provide some insight?
Oh, sure, I'd love that. Thanks.
So I think with your channel, it everything works really well. You have a theme to your channel. I think everybody should have a theme to their panels, a theme to their, you know, overlays and, you know, whatever it may be, right? I think that's really great. Again, everybody should do that. I love that you have a lot of like through, I guess they're called through links, or just, you know, clickable links that if something of importance is stated, that you can just click like your Twitter and it'll go to your Twitter. You can click like how you have your second monitor for keyboard commander. You can just click keyboard commander and it'll go to their site, their website, right? I think that's really great. I think if anything, everyone should do that. I kind of find it overwhelming. Is that fair to say? There's a lot that I have to look for and a lot that I have to kind of take in order to really get who you are. Um, but for the most part, it's really informative, right?
That's understandable. I've actually condensed it since before. So
Yeah.
it's, it was worse before.
Oh, okay. But yeah, maybe there's some things you can provide in a separate forum or a separate, I guess. Well, I mean, you have your website, right? Did you make your website?
Yeah, I made my website.
Yeah, I like your website. It seems like it's done just on your own, and you've pretty much added all your information here as well, like the games that you worked on and music that you like. Yeah, so that's really cool that you have that. I think my next step in hosting like my channel is to get a website, but I'm probably not there yet. Okay, so my next thing is when you're playing other games, do you do you talk about like what interests you in terms of like web, like how they develop the game? Like if I'm thinking more in the sense of like if I was a person that reviewed video games, well, and if I was able to coherently talk about a video game as I'm playing it, I can talk to certain tropes that they use and certain mechanics that they use that other game uses. Do you do that with certain games while as you're playing it?
I'd say that some games I research before I play them, and then others I'll learn a lot more about them while I play through the first time.
Mm.
But I think it's sometimes it's fun to do a blind playthrough for my first time. But a lot of games I want to play through a second time just because like I learned so much during the first playthrough.
Hmm. Yeah, because maybe even like trying to recreate something on your end and how they made it or how they did it, and then do like a 2 day stream or something just to find out how they did it and just kind of recreate it. I don't know, I'm just shooting out ideas, maybe just thinking about things, but I'm thinking of it like you can because you're a developer, you can kind of go to different games and be like, wow, that's really interesting. How do they do that? And then research on it, and like your passion goes into everything that you do, right?
Yeah, some studios I admire and I research more about like the crew that did Life is Strange, and I learned about like the actresses and stuff, and how during Before the Storm, which came out after the original Life is Strange, but is supposed to be their prequel.
Yeah.
And it was cool because Ashley Birch, who played Chloe in the first one, she was on the writer's strike, or I mean the voice actors strike during the creation of the second Life is Strange that came out. So she was still on the writers team, but someone else wound up voicing Chloe for Before the Storm. I thought that was really interesting.
Do you and again, do you talk about that on stream, like that kind of information? Do you talk about it to your viewers? Because that's what I'm trying to get to, that you provide that kind of information to your stream.
Yeah, anytime I know cool details like that, I'll be sure to point it
Yeah.
out because I like to analyze and stuff, but I don't always know as much. When I first start a game, I might not have as much information, but especially games like that where it'll take multiple streams to complete, I'll wind up finding out more as I go along and bringing up different details as they come up.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Well, pretty much that's it. I'll definitely keep in contact with you. I had a lot of fun going to your channel while you did, like while you were even modeling your um your game, like doing your models. I was very interested and intrigued in what you were working on. I have no idea what you were doing or how you did it, but it seemed very interesting, and the way that you talked to your viewers as you were doing it, like it made it more interesting for me to actually engage and watch even further. So I don't know what else I can say. I think you're doing a great job. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. That was really fun.
If anything, we'll keep in touch, and I'll talk to you further, and definitely be able to go onto your channel a lot more.
Likewise.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cheers.
So welcome to the Four Streamer Podcast. I'm joined here with Just Car, Movies with Mark, and Oddbug, or the Oddbug, correct? And we're
Yeah.
we're here talking about your stream. So in order, let's go with just Car, and then Movies with Mark, and then Oddbug. Tell us about yourself, Just Car.
Okay. Well, I'm just basically I'm 24. I'm from Ireland, and yeah, I basically stream video games on Twitch. I started out on YouTube. I was basically doing that from young enough age. I think from like 15, maybe 16 onward. I started making YouTube videos, and it never really took off over the course of a few years. So then I decided I just move over to Twitch. And I started that back in July, and I've been doing it up until now. And yeah, I love it. It's great.
Thank you so much. Movie with Mark. You can go ahead.
I am a 32-year-old guy from Minnesota. I am a full-time web developer, but I moonlight as a movie critic. And I started doing movie reviews on YouTube in addition to writing movie reviews for a few different sites. And I really like the whole video format, but I wanted it to be more connective. And I found that making the move to Twitch was a better way to gain more interaction and to experiment a little bit more. So.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. And last but not least, the Oddbug.
Hi, I'm just, hi, my name's Oddbug. I'm 24. I'm from California. I pretty much stream video games as well. It varies pretty much from like FPSs to RPGs. I also stream breakdancing when I go to practice. I'm a breakdancer. I've been breakdancing since 2011, so 2010, so like almost 8 years, yeah. So other than that, that's pretty much what I do for Twitch. I've been watching Twitch for a decent amount of time, so I just thought I could probably try it out and branch out from there.
Yeah, so that's what I really like about this whole format is that I know there are going to be a lot of streamers that are just starting out and kind of want to get their name out there and kind of want to get the experience with podcasts. And I'm not big myself, so it helps that because we're so small we can grow together, and that you can kind of get the experience with doing podcasts and get the experience with talking to people about streaming and what you want to accomplish from streaming. So for each of you guys, how long have you guys been streaming for?
I started in July, as I said before, and I've been streaming up until now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I started a little bit around like July, but I only started taking it more seriously around December.
For me, I've been streaming since October, so about 4.5, 5 months of streaming.
That's good. Yeah, so we have a lot of experience here and there, and we can each talk about different topics and different things that happen with it. So the next thing that I want is to know how like what got you to streaming? I mean, each of you have your own mediums and what you really want to accomplish from it. What got you guys to stream? In the same order, just car, movies with Mark, and the Odd Bug.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I was I was on YouTube for years, so I was making videos and putting a lot of work into that. And with YouTube, there's a lot of render time for videos and stuff, and you have to edit it and stuff like that. So that's one thing that knocked me down because I had a pretty crappy laptop for a while. Um, and then I put a lot of work into YouTube, and then I started it back up there. I don't know, about 2 years ago, maybe, and it was working out grand. I was getting views here and there, and I had one video that just got onto the homepage for a few minutes, and it got 15,000 views.
On YouTube, right? On YouTube.
On YouTube, on
Yeah.
YouTube. And I thought, oh, this is great, but you know, the revenue off that was terrible, and the amount of momentum I gained was really bad, and it was really demotivating. And then I figured I've been living in a city for a few years, with pretty decent broadband, so I figured I may as well try the live aspect of it and just see if it works out better. And it did. I just sort of instantly fell in love with the fact that I can be live and interactive with people. Within the first month, I had one or two people who were regulars coming into the chat, and it's already paid off a whole lot more than YouTube has done in the course of 6 or 7 years. And as I said, I only started in July, so
And
it's crazy to think it's grown that much.
when you say it paid off, you mean in terms of people actually interacting and communicating with you, or do you mean that in actual, like in a monetary sense?
No, I mean in terms of interaction. The amount
Yeah.
of comments I've gotten on YouTube over the course of whatever 6 or 7 years, however long I did it for, compared to how many comments I've gotten in Twitch chat,
Yeah.
is immense. It's such a huge difference.
Absolutely. I think the live interaction is where people really get um, their kick from streaming and what they really love about it.
Oh
Movie,
man, I've had people who have made me piss myself laughing, just
yeah.
completely, from stuff they've come out with in the chat, and I have to stop playing the game I've done. And I haven't had that happen on YouTube. It's usually just stupid crap in the comments.
Mark, how about yourself?
Well, I just look for different ways to kind of expand just like the brand of like the type of stuff I like to do. Like I love to keep a lot of irons in the fire at once. So like in addition to having a full-time job, I also write movie books, and I write movie reviews for lots of different sites, and I do convention panels too. So I decided I wanted to expand that too, because I have like press access to all like these films. I feel like I had to do something more with this, and I wanted to get more involved with the community instead of just having this kind of like Sermon on the Mount thing. And I think the streaming had helped it to open it up more for more of a conversation, and it also made it a lot easier to get my wife involved with it as well.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of the stuff that you do is movie related, and I saw a lot of your videos about movie reviews that you've done, like the best movies of 2017. You did your Black Panther review. You've done like a few movies that you grabbed here and there, and you kind of reviewed them as well. I was really interested in what you had to say with a lot of the movies. Like you even talked about Inception and how that was a really good movie to go back to just to watch over again. So I think your passion definitely lies around in movie reviews. It's a shame that you can't like watch a movie on stream in order and then like talk about it, because then that would be like where you would shine the most, right?
Well, partially. I mean, I think it depends on like what you'd have that much to say about a movie. Because like I've done like some little commentary stuff before through like audio tracks and stuff like that, and it was okay, but it doesn't really expand much. I have more fun actually just talking about the film, as opposed to just kind of doing well, like kind of like Roger used to do. You would have like a little class where you go frame by frame by frame,
Yeah.
and then have people comment on it, which that would be kind of cool for that type of format. You wouldn't work online for like copyright reasons and all that, but and yeah, that has been kind of like a hindrance at times, because I do want to talk about films and use clips. And the problem with that, with like, I'm not quite sure how it works too much here on Twitch, but especially on YouTube, it's very touchy. Like even when I have access to official press material that you can use in videos, you know, YouTube's little system is a little shaky on that ground. So Twitch might be the same way as well, because I've had like audio drop.
That's where my next point comes to. Like, how do you know about the copyright stuff? Because a lot of it will fall under review, right?
Well, it's very like odd. Like the problem is with the copyright stuff is that it's automated now. So
Okay.
you know, you can, you know, you could have like a review and you could have access to press materials, but the way that some of these sites are designed up, they're just designed to look at it, pick it up, and snatch it right away, and then you have to go back and contest it. Like I've had it happen, because I don't because now I refuse to like use clips now, because it'll get in copyright problems. But I have had issues where it'll have like advertising strikes just for being a movie review, and it's just because it picks up on like one image. And usually, if you go back and request a review, they'll take it off, but it's just too much of a hassle. So I, you know, just try to alleviate the headaches that go along with it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How about you, the Odd Bug?
I got into streaming pretty much. I was a viewer first. I watched a lot of streaming and Twitch, like in its early days, like 2013, when I was like just out of high school. It's pretty much I took the opportunity to try to advertise breakdancing more just recently. I'm trying to branch out because one guy in my breakdancing group, he does YouTube videos too. And but he hasn't been doing a lot of film stuff lately. So like I kind of tried to like do that, but without having to do YouTube pretty much, more as like I'm just recording us practicing or going to any dance events if they do come up. So like I'm trying to branch towards dancing more than gaming now.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So I go to each of your guys' channels just to watch what you guys do and kind of see where I can comment. And I saw that you did breakdance. It was really cool how you had like an in real life stream set up for the breakdancing. Yeah, I think if anything, like fuse the two, right? I used to watch this one streamer that would play CS:GO, and then he would, you know, play for an hour or so, and then do like a 10-minute like dance routine that he's working on, or the kind of like testing whatever skill he has, and he would have that playing for like 10 minutes as he's doing it. So I think that's something that you can really implement with your dancing.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing something like that. Yeah, I was thinking of something along the line of doing something like that. Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that. So for both of you guys, what kind of problems have you guys, you know? Well, let's go with this one first. Who are streamers that you guys really enjoy watching? What kind of streamers do you like? Do you guys like to watch?
I'm pretty much pretty much like what I stream. I like watching gamers. I suppose like I wouldn't be into watching many of the bigger ones. Shroud is someone who I find very entertaining. I also like Dr. Disrespect, but there are some lesser known people who I do enjoy as well. There's a smaller dude named Drinky, like DRNKIE, and he doesn't get like thousands and thousands of views at a time. He maybe hovers around 800 to 1,000, and I just think he's really entertaining and he's really good at Fortnite. And lately, I've just been tuning into him and dropping hosts on him every now and again as well.
Mark, how about you?
Well, for me, it's usually just about I like people who have genuine personalities that come across that I love to listen to. So like I feel like my favorites are people like Slow Beef and Thai Tuesday, previously recorded. Just a lot of people who just can can have like a genuine presence and have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and just have kind of a natural presence to them.
Previously recorded as a streamer?
Yeah, I believe they're it's the guys from Red Letter Media.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, I gotta check that out. How about you, the Oddbug?
For me personally, I've been watching Twitch for a while now. Since out of high school. I started watching, for me, that got me into Twitch was League of Legends at first, but like I watched other things too because I couldn't really had the opportunity to play like PC gaming until last year. I just built my computer, but what got me into like Twitch in general, like overall, like the aspect of Twitch was Lyric and Summit 1G.
Yeah.
They're pretty big. Everyone pretty much knows about them. I watch a lot of the big streamers, not really for uh was it to get like experience. It's like kind of like just because like that's like kind of like every big gamer's dream, to be like paid to play games and like interact with people who have the same goals as you. And I just like the way they're not like cocky or anything. They're just kind of humble in their own aspects, and they have like a different approach of like play style, and that's what kind of tuned me into Twitch is just how they promote themselves as a person.
How they present their character, how they present themselves. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that sense that Summit 1G is very humble. Lyric is very humble as well. They both very down to earth people, and yeah, I do like watching them as well. Well, that's
I
really
mean, I like Summit, but I mean, I wouldn't call him humble. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's a bit of his persona that comes out a little bit too much, but sometimes he comes off as a bit cocky and a bit like,
let's put into perspective with Dr. Disrespect, and then we'll bring that conversation back up again.
okay, okay.
I've been playing Twitch. I've been watching Twitch since DayZ, so like I've known them for a lot longer. So I can't really, I don't like being like off topic about like that type of stuff.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
yeah,
fine.
so it's
That's
not
fine.
towards me.
No, like I'll sit down and watch Summit. I mean, I don't have a problem with him. I quite like Summit. I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't describe him as humble myself. Is all I'm saying.
That's cool. Everyone has their perspective on it, and you might find them on a bad day, so you kind of have a one view of them. But you get to learn them after time goes on. So as you guys started streaming, what's something that really made you happy that you started? Like, well, what moment kicked in that really solidified your idea to stream?
I think it was when the community really started to form. Like in the early stages when I didn't even, at the time, I didn't know a community was starting to form. But it was. There was maybe 2 or 3 regulars in the chat. Maybe on a good day it would grow up to maybe like 5 or 6 people. And the laughs that we were having and the jokes and just having fun, and even just getting my girlfriend involved because she's sometimes in the background when I'm streaming, to the point where my chat even told me if it was a case that they had to choose between me or her, they would choose her over me, and I felt very offended, and we all laughed, and it was great. And it was funny. I think that's the best part. It's like, I don't know, we call ourselves the fam gang as a fucking joke, but yeah, it's just fun. It's like a little family, but none of us have ever met each other or ate dinner together or anything like that.
Yeah, that intimacy, like that I talked about earlier, with the sense of community. I think the intimacy with people. You're not in a room by yourself streaming to people. You're actually interacting with people as if they were beside you. So you kind of have to present yourself the same way that you would present yourself to them in person. I think is the best thing.
Yeah, and because of that, like, you do have to treat it like, they're coming there for you, so you do have to put on whatever, if it's a persona or whatever, you need to have a coffee and make sure that you are energized and not just, hey guys, I'm gonna stream right now. You have to treat it like if you went to watch your favorite TV show, and you went to watch something and it was completely the opposite of what you expected or what you got on the regular, you'd be pretty pissed. So you kind of have to treat it like that for your fans as well.
How about you, Mark?
Well, I guess when the stream started turning into cheers, when you start getting like 3 or 4 usuals, and then you're kind of like Norm, that's you're a familiar person. Yeah, just like just having a regular crew there, like just like what Josh was saying there. You start building a community of regular people that you like seeing on a regular basis. So just a sense of growing the community and feeling like you're kind of like an integral part of like a viewing experience. But and yeah, like you said, you gotta bring some energy to it. So I do try to read the chat as often as possible and talk to them as often as possible.
And last but not least, the odd bug.
For me, it's mainly off stream where I get my moments, is because like I'm in like a decent amount of other Discord groups, and just being able to like talk to other streamers and like network and all of that, like just that alone is more enough for me, because it counts like kind of like in like your point of view forward, how like you want like that one, you prefer like one person's connection over like 10 other people that you don't know. It's kind of like that aspect for me, but like off, like in a personal aspect though, like
while you're networking, you're saying like as you're talking to people outside of it. Yeah, like,
that's pretty much that's my key moments of streaming purpose, streaming in general.
That's cool. Yeah, I think networking in that regard is where you're gonna really win. In streaming, is that you're talking to people and they know you, and then they see that you're streaming, or you tell them that you're streaming, and then they go and hang out with you for the little time that they can, or whatever it may be. So what problems have you guys what problems has arisen from streaming from each of you guys? Josh?
I would say, oh God, problems. So when I got into a real slump between I was working my old job, which was I used to work in a call center for a broadband company, which was pretty crap as well. They're a pretty bad broadband company. So people used to call up and abuse you on the phone, and that was basically what I was paid to do. It was really hard to come home in the evenings, and it was really hard to fucking stream. I sometimes found it very hard to face it, and I just didn't go live. And because of that, my stream just lost a load of momentum for, I think it was 2 weeks straight where I was just feeling really down. And I think I streamed once across 2 weeks, which is way, way off schedule. And so getting out of little like funks that I think every streamer experiences this as well, not just me.
So too.
Is one of the biggest difficulties I've had. Other than that, I think when your PC starts having issues,
technical issues. Yeah, I think that's the thing that everybody would really have a problem. But
my processor started to die recently, and when that started to go down, I couldn't stream anything really except for really low graphics games. Yeah. So it really put my stream on a halt until I could get the money together just to kind of replace it and stuff.
How about you, Mark?
It's mostly just that technical stuff, like every now and then, like there'll be drop frames or like the connection will go bad. And it's just one of those things where you just kind of got to roll with the punches with it. I improve the hardware, any chance I get, I try to splurge a little bit. But most of the time, like if the stream will go down or if it's having issues, I'll try to bring it back up, try to restart it. And most of the people who follow, I'll usually stick around, like if it gets to that point. Like in the last episode I last Thursday, we were filming with the webcam and the laptop restarted. And so immediately I just hopped my phone, brought up the app, started up the recording again, and everyone was still on board. So just kind of rolling with the technical punches.
I watched that. I saw how it was split, and you were talking about the movies that you were talking about, and I saw that it just cut off, and you kept going with it. That's really good. How about you, the Oddbug?
For me personally, I have a little technical issue when it comes to streaming. it's mainly my CPU, and also my mic. My mic's a little bit too loud because the headset that I use, the mic doesn't work. Also, I think like other problems for me for as a streamer would be like trying to talk to myself a lot. I think that's one thing I gotta work on as a streamer is learning to kind of talk because I'm a small streamer and I haven't reached affiliate. So like I think what problem for me is like trying to catch like people's attention as if they were there is one of my hardest
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, so like explaining what's happening in the game is a big thing. Talking about what you want to do in the next like 5 minutes is going to be where you can kind of start to do that. Talk about like plays that you want, because I know you stream League of Legends. Talk about plays that you kind of want to, do in the next little bit, or explain things that are happening within the game to your best knowledge, right?
Yeah, I try to do that. It's like for me when I play video games, like I tend to like talk in my head more. So like I feel like I'm speaking it, but I'm not. So it's like I'm explaining it in my head, but I keep forgetting that like I have a mic. So like I need to like tend to like talk more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my real problem.
Yeah, learning to keep well, what I would call it is becoming a chatterbox, just a talking head. That's what I kind of struggled with at the start, and I find if you keep doing it and keep trying at it, you'll find it will transition into your real life. So, for example, when I'm in work and I might be talking to groups of people, I talk an awful lot more than everyone else because I'm used to just talking to myself at home. And it's really
Yeah.
sad when you say it out loud like that, but
No, it makes sense. Okay, so given the conversation that we were having earlier about the conversation that we had about community, what do you guys think about the thing where I explained earlier that community is something that I feel should be that you have 5 people or 3 people that you have a deep connection with, a more intimate connection with, opposed to having 500 people that you barely know. Going down the list, what do you guys think about the idea of joining a different community is just to, get your name out there, or how do you feel about all the different communities that you can join?
well, I'm all right with branching out, but I don't think you should be like, regardless of whether you're a big streamer or whether you're a small streamer, I think you need to value yourself and set yourself your own bar and your own kind of price tag. Um, don't throw yourself into every single community that's out there. Kind of do your research and then go in after having a look at what it's about. Like I'm sponsored by a website, mygamingcareer.com, which is like it's like LinkedIn for gamers. Or sorry, no, it's like LinkedIn for media creators like streamers and YouTubers. And it's a place where you can network and sort of build your stream and post your stream whenever you're going live or your YouTube video. And before I let them sponsor me, or before I became part of their community, I had a look into it. I obviously checked out what the site was doing and what their goals were, and I talked to the CEO of the site before ever letting any of that go through. So I think it is a good idea just to investigate and research before throwing yourself into anything, because you don't want to be seen as just someone who's thrown yourself into every bit of everyone's mix.
That makes sense.
I understand the word fingers, or the saying fingers in many pies, but you only have 10 fingers. You can't get in every pie.
Okay, that's nice. Mark, how about yourself? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much the same deal. Yeah, I mean I try to branch out as much as I can, but I kind of keep them out there to just in case one fails. That being said, I do put a lot of work into those outside efforts. But yeah, the big deal is to make sure that it is a community you want to be a part of, and moreover, asking yourself, is this the kind of group I want to be in, and is this like how I want to be seen? So I guess having a little bit of, kind of like foresight to make sure you're going into, what you want out of the stream, as opposed to, just going for the easy route to viewers. Because there are a lot of people who go for the easy route to viewers, and it basically gets to a point where you're just kind of like being, the court jester of the viewer, and that's kind of where I don't want to end up being.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. And yourself, the
For me, personally, I agree with both of you guys, all of you guys, about the whole community thing. But for me, it's I like to actually enter the community first and kind of like see how like the community runs, and then like try to talk to people and like kind of like lurk around, and like if see people like approach you or anything like that, and kind of like see if they are willing to like try to help people that are new. And then if it doesn't work out for me, like I've joined like a decent amount of communities and actually left because like they'll like talk to you for a little bit, and then they'll like completely leave you hanging for a decent amount of time, and then like they'll just talk to like the newer people just to make them feel comfortable so that they can stay. So for me personally, it's like all about like interaction with like the community, like you said earlier, forward. So like that's my thing about community is like I'll join them, but like I like to like see how they like communicate or like how they network with like the smaller people.
yeah, yeah. So I joined a few as well, and like there's maybe like four that approached me on Instagram that wanted me to join their Twitch community, and I felt like I joined them, and I saw that they had over 1,000 viewer or 1,000 members, 500 members, whatever it may be. But the members that I checked randomly throughout the different things were a lot of the viewers, a lot of the followers that they had did not equate to the amount of members that were in that group. Some of them only had 20, some of them only had 50, or maybe one or two had 1,000. But it kind of confused me, and it kind of, again, like made me think about what really do these communities do. And that's pretty much all I want to get out of this, is kind of understand it more, right? Because I don't know about it. Like I don't know how to feel about it really.
Yeah, no, I agree. You can see big numbers, and it can just make you think, "Whoa, that's something I need to be a part of. That's something that will be
Yeah.
good for me." And then when you get in, you realize everyone in there is just stagnating and not moving and not gaining momentum
I,
at
I, f-
all. They're
I feel
just
like
sitting there.
I feel like a lot of it is that you have to put in the work and talk to the people, but it's like if nobody's talking, then no one really gets to network in the first place. But
Yeah,
I
sometimes
maybe
they're just groups of people that are full of
yeah. So
they're just
that's
full of people who don't want to put in the effort.
so like I would want someone from a community, if they ever hear this, to kind of explain it to me a little bit more, and kind of and show me how they've worked with their community, and kind of get them to engage in discourse, and actually interact with each other. But for the most part, that's pretty much that. So the next part that I have for you guys is, are there any kind of issues or any kind of questions that you guys have about streaming that you guys may want to have answered?
Oh, that's a tough one. Any questions about streaming that we'd want to have answered?
Yeah.
Yeah, how the hell does the double PC thing work? Where you have one PC for streaming hooked up to your PC that's actually playing the game. I don't know how that works. Do you need an Elgato or
I'll
what?
uh, I'll explain it to you. So you have your main PC. You have it built to however you want, for your games to run at however you want it to run at. So if you have like a basic um, i7 7700K um, uh, CPU with like a good graphics card and good RAM, all that stuff, all of your games will run on that computer. Then the output of your video card through HDMI would run to the capture card on your second computer, which would have something that is a lot more intense with like the amount of CPUs that it has. So the i7 7700K is only a quad core, I believe, and you can have something like a AMD core, and the Ryzen 7 that has like 8 cores or 6 cores that will help with actually rendering what you're trying to render and send that, and that would be the computer that sends out all the information to your Twitch. And then the output of your video card would then go, or the output of your capture card would then go back into your monitor that you're playing on.
Okay. You
So
just saved me watching a YouTube video, man.
that's essentially, that's like the gist of it. Like that's like the how the it works in general. There are different ways of doing it, and there are things that you may need, like a good mixer to do it. There's like some tricks. There's if you use XSplit, there's this thing called New Tech NDI, which essentially sends the information from your first computer through your Ethernet and your router to your second computer. So you don't need a capture card. It'll just send the information through that to your second computer. Your second computer receives it and then renders it and then sends it out to Twitch. If you can kind of
Is
picture that whole moment, the whole
just
movement.
just to something you've just sort of jogged something in my own brain. If I could sort of pitch something myself,
Sure.
it isn't it amazing how everyone used OBS nonstop over all these years, and now we have the new Streamlabs OBS coming out. We also have Bebo. Like, I wonder what it's going to be like in the next few years, if there's going to be more streaming apps, that are maybe catered towards different types of streamers. Like, is there going to be an app that's developed specifically for people who are doing like IRL streams out in the street,
That
on their
that
phones
is
or
a
something?
thing actually. There are programs, there are like little boxes that you can get for in real life streamers that are encoders, like specifically encoders that capture the footage from your camera and sends it to Twitch. Like it's like a little box. They have like backpacks, like stuff like that for that. But the biggest thing that I think is what you're trying to say is, like, there are these all these different streaming softwares that are out there. Like even now, there's Game Show, XSplit, OBS. There's Streamlabs OBS. There's a few other ones like Livestream. Even has their own product that streams it. XSplit has two different streamers. It has Gamecaster and the Broadcaster. They they all work in the same way. It's just the features that they have. I personally I prefer XSplit. I've been using XSplit before it was even released as a full product. I've been using it since beta. I I enjoyed every single second of it simply because there were so many different features that you can tweak things here and tweak things there and make it to your like actual perfected, your actual vision to what you wanted. You see it and you can do it. OBS, I'm in it now and I'm trying to learn it. But yeah, so like I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can research. Talk to me after. I'll tell you more about the dual PC. I think we'll have a lot of conversations about that.
Cool,
Mark,
cool.
how about you?
I just kind of want to know what the legality is of Rabbit at this point. Because because like, yeah, I was thinking about like the whole, like commentary and like watching stuff with people. I think is pretty cool. It would be neat if there were more clear guidelines for that. I don't know how the heck Rabbit is still existing at this point. I mean, but I guess I would kind of like to know that, because I like the idea of maybe watching a movie with someone. Like, if you might be able to do it with like public domain stuff, because I've seen like some Twitch communities try to do that, and you technically can, but I'm like, again, I'm not completely sure of its legality. So I mean, that's my biggest question.
Okay, so the thing that I know about Rabbit, if anybody doesn't know what Rabbit is, you can put, I believe, a video on screen and then everybody can watch it with you, correct?
Yeah.
So what I know is that with Twitch, you can do that as just like an in real life stream and have it as your camera, and then Rabbit would be on a separate thing somewhere else that you would have, like there wouldn't be a connection. Like I don't think it can be on your Twitch to go and like send everybody to Rabbit, but I believe you can do it on like your Discord and say, okay, this is moving night. and we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, I know
we're
it's
gonna
like a subscription little reward deal, like which is cool. Like I'd like to do that. I'm just not sure how much validity Rabbit has in there. And because I peeked on there a few days ago and people are watching Duncan Jones's new film Mute on Netflix. And like, wow, that's all right. I guess that's up there.
yeah.
Well, you see, there is a whole. It's kind of a. I'd say that's murky water. You know, it's not even a gray area. I would say that's probably dangerous just to even be messing with it because Twitch are obviously going to try and cover themselves and they don't want people, especially streaming movies. I know little bits of music from Spotify and stuff in the background while someone is screaming over a game or playing a game and reacting to it or whatever, or doing an IRL stream. That might be bad and a little bit copyright, but I think watching an entire movie with someone, and I understand you movie on
One second. You're kind of lagging here. 1 second. Hello? No, you're still lagging. Hello, hello? No, it's still lagging.
Oh my god, one sec.
Oh, okay, no, there. Yeah, I think you're back now.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so just like to continue on what he was saying, is just pretty much like the murky water aspect. Yeah, I think if anything, contact one of the mods. Even on like the different, like even on Twitch Reddit, maybe maybe ask the question generally. There are a lot of resources that help you with that. Maybe I haven't been able to check it myself because I never really needed to do it. But I definitely think that it should be a thing where um, you can have like a movie night. I was even thinking of doing like, I'm not sure how to call it, but it would be something along the lines of like the book of the week, whatever. Like you have to read a book the week, but it's actually a video game, and then we come and the next Saturday we come and talk about it, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
but you see, the problem with that is, right, you're going to have the movie executives who are going to be a little bit unhappy with people getting free access to their movies. You know, unless you're doing it
Yeah,
with really, really old movies, they're going to be bad. That they're going to be annoyed that people aren't buying the DVD, that they're getting a free stream on Twitch. They're not paying to stream it on Hulu or one of those
yeah, yeah.
services, you know? So I think that's why it probably wouldn't be allowed with movies. Whereas with music, short little clips of music in the background that's not very loud, I think they may look the other way. But with movies, I think it may just be a flat out like, no.
I'll definitely
Yeah,
have
that's why
to
I'm only
check that
thinking
out.
like public domain films.
Ah, right. Well, that stuff. Yeah, no, I agree. You should be able to do that. I mean, maybe not the Avengers, but yeah, public domain films definitely.
Okay, so how about you, the odd bug? What do you have as a question?
For me personally, most of my questions are pretty much already answered. More for like myself, I guess. Question would be like, what could I do to like better my stream quality per se? I mean, you've
Okay.
watched my stream, so like you could probably give me some insights maybe
I'll
on like
provide
what I
that.
should.
I'll provide that in the end. Um, I think this part is more if you have like a question, like with structure, maybe a question with things beyond streaming, maybe even just something that like I'll go through each channel and kind of talk to you guys about how you guys can improve it, or my suggestions of ways to improve it.
Yeah, I don't really have any other questions really
Okay,
besides
okay, that's fine.
yeah.
No worries. I'll definitely go through that. So I guess that's a good segue to the next section here. I'll go through each of you guys' channels and kind of talk about what you guys have and how you can improve it. Mark, I'm really interested in talking to you about yours because I think there's a lot of things that you can do that would add to your stream. But let's go in order here. With Jaskar, Josh Carr.
Yep.
Um, so the big thing that I talked about last week was panels, right? And how you kind of provide your panels and how you present your panels. And I want to make sure that it's something that is grounded into everyone's brains, that even if you are not a big streamer, um, your panels do provide a lot of character to your stream and provide your stream with a lot of information that not everybody can come in and start asking you this and that and that and this. What times do you stream? They can go into the panels and kind of get that question already answered, right?
So
So
you mean like the panels down beneath my little
yeah,
window live? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
So the I think for you the thing that you should really try to work on is knowing how to do your through links, where you have a link to something, and there's no way for me to click that link for it to be easier for me to go to your Twitter, or I can click like a Twitter name for your music, the people that you kind of feature on your music, to go to their Twitters or their SoundClouds or their YouTubes or whatever it may be. If you have like some kind of information that you want to provide people to actually go to another website, you can do that through the through clicks, the through links, right? I guess they're called
okay.
hyperlinks, really. But
Yeah.
the way that works, it provides the viewer with ease, instead of them having to, highlight everything, copy it, go to the tab and paste it, and then press enter. Everything is just done in one click, right? I know it kind of seems silly, but when you
No, it
have
makes sense.
when you have to put more work to your viewer, then it makes it so that they don't want to really interact,
No,
right?
listen, the internet has made people lazy, so they're not going to want to go to the extra effort. I understand exactly what you
I
mean.
don't think it made them lazy. I think it made them more efficient. So if there's things that don't make them efficient, and you're selling time to people, right? Time is so valuable to a lot of people that if I have to spend 10 seconds to click something and to go to some other site, I and it doesn't and I can do it with 1 second, then I won't take the 10 seconds to do it. I think that's what
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
people they listen to audiobooks more than actually reading the book, because they can do that while they're driving, right? They can read the book while they're driving. People listen to podcasts. Podcast is really big because people enjoy listening to information and listening to things whatever topic that they want to listen to while they're doing something else, cooking, cleaning, whatever it may be, right? And that goes in hand with streaming. People want to be able to watch your stream, and also do whatever they want to do. Like I kind of, I'm in my mind right now that it's kind of crazy for me to think that people are only watching me, right, and they're not doing something else. So I gotta put in my mind that, okay, they're watching me. That I'll be more idle and then bring attention to what I'm doing afterwards, right? Um, but I think if anything, the panels is really important. I really like that you show your PC build and your PC specs in your the Amazon
Yeah.
affiliate panel. Um, I would say shorten. I guess probably the best way to say is shorten the panel pictures so that they're not not as tall. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking of doing a complete rework with them, to be honest. So that's been in the back of my mind. It's just
Yep.
I haven't put in the effort. I've
So
just been lazy myself.
I think again, play to your strength. If you don't think that you can do it yourself, then grab someone to help you with it. I definitely couldn't have done my graphic work, so I went and contacted Metalcat TV on Twitter, and she helped me out with doing the graphic work. I
Yeah, no,
wouldn't.
I'm pretty proficient with a bit of Photoshop and
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
so
So that's
I can do it myself. It's just I literally have just been too lazy to do it, and
yeah, yeah.
that's me being honest.
Well, yeah. So that's what that I mean. That I say that generally to like anybody listening. That I think if you're going to be working on your channel, to contact the people that may be able to help you with your banners, your this and that, to actually get it done, right? But yeah, I saw your channel. I mean, you don't have a webcam, right? Or do you?
No, that's in the works. I still have to get
So
a green screen and stuff
so
sorted
you
as well.
don't again, you don't have to get it. It's not a big thing to get it. I'm sure you mentioned Lyric before. Someone mentioned Lyric here before, but the
Yeah, Oddbug I think was talking about Lyric.
Yeah, that was me.
yeah, so Lyric he didn't need he didn't need a camera, but he had a tremendous microphone that he used, and he played it with his audio, and he provided character through his audio instead of becoming very
It,
animated with his body, right?
Not only that, it's his Streamlabs setup and his little audio cues that he added to give his stream more personality.
Yeah,
They helped him grow an awful lot, and I think he really stands to show that if you're too shy to show your face
yeah,
on webcam, you can still make it on Twitch. Like,
yeah. I believe he spent like a really long time not having his face on the internet, and then he like maybe what, a year ago, like revealed himself a little bit more. Like he even has it on his Twitter that his face is there, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
He got his like face on cam. Like it was like a while, it was like cons like a while back. This is like before him and like Waffle and Shorty was like friends. Like, cause before Shorty was big, he was like a stream sniper for Lyric, and during DayZ time, and like
Yeah,
that's pretty much how Lyric and Shorty became friends. But they met up at a con, and they met Waffle there, and Waffle like took a selfie with him, and like he posted up on the internet without asking Lyric,
yeah. That's what
and
I
like
thought. Yeah,
yeah, and he didn't like that, and so like for the longest for that time, they didn't really like each other at that time for a little bit, but they're really good friends now. So like I think it's just like how Reddit and Twitch and Twitter is like kind of like big on the drama stuff. So for
yeah,
him to post up uh picture at that time was kind of like, I guess because he's like
for sure.
an introvert kind of, so
Yeah.
like
So that
but
yeah.
he's
So again, the whole point is that you don't really need a mic. You don't really need a camera. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I think a microphone is probably the biggest thing that anybody should really invest in. You know, spend $200 on a good microphone. If you watch
you
my
don't need
last,
to spend that much though, dude. I mean,
but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna spend 100 on a microphone, 100 on a camera, and you don't really want to spend 100 on another on green screen, you don't want to spend another 100 for lights, then for the time being, get that $200 microphone. That's my
yeah, but
point.
my microphone only cost me $50.
Well, yeah, again, it's depending on what kind of quality you want to get into, but that's the point that I'm saying, is that you don't need a camera. But yeah, so I watched your stream and it was really good quality. Like it was a good, like, settings, I guess you can call it, right? But for the most part, it's really great. Just kind of shorten the panels, put the click throughs on your links, your hyperlinks, and maybe provide more information about who you are. I can't really find too much of
Okay,
that on down here. Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Next is movie with Mark. Movie with Mark. I really like the whole movie review aspect of your channel, and I think you should really play into that more. Even when you're playing different games, like I saw that you were playing Final Fantasy VII, and you were playing Doki Doki. These different games. Um, while I did watch maybe like half an hour here, half an hour there, in different videos, like a lot of it you were talking about movies and not talking about the game themselves. Sometimes you did talk about them, and you did talk about what was happening, but I think a lot of your passion is in the movies that you're playing. So my question is have you ever thought about playing like really cinematic video games, and kind of providing your insight to how they are to like actual movies? Like the biggest
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
biggest.
I've done that a few with like one of the first things I tried out doing was Blade Runner, and I talked an extensive amount of that. I put it in the I did it on YouTube, then I put some of the videos on Twitch. And yeah, I do have a kind of a long list of other games based on movies. But I kind of want to uh, get like a framework for them down so that there's a little bit of a format so that I can kind of dice it up and kind of like dissect it more. Because like with Blade Runner, I went in with the plan, and with a lot of these other like retro games that I love to play, I just kind of free ball it and then just kind of like put in like movie and easy talk within that. So I want to try to find a way to kind of like merge the two.
Definitely, that's what I'm really trying to get to. Is like the biggest thing that I remember with the Uncharted series was that everyone was talking about it as it being like a big cinematic video game. It was more cinematic than it was actually gameplay, right? And so
Mhm.
see I would want to see how you can meld that movie review, critiquing, you know, personality that you have into the games, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it's just more research because like I also did that with Star Wars Rebel Assault. And that's the problem with like a lot of these games. There's not as much to go on them. So like most of the time it's just gonna be riffing. So
yeah, like see, it's like see like things like PUBG. I know I saw you play PUBG, and I don't know, I kind of feel like you're like, why play it, right?
yeah, it was
Um,
just kind of like experimenting. Because like most of like the games I've been playing here have been experimenting, but now I've been trying to do kind of a trying to touch on kind of more stuff that I want to play, kind of more retro stuff. So usually, Final Fantasy came about because I started putting up polls, and everyone wanted to see Final Fantasy VII. So I went through it, and it seems to hold up well as kind of like something both to comment on in the background and both something for people to watch. So it's kind of experimenting through that. But yeah, I do also kind of want to get back to more games based on movies. Like especially like I found out there's a free copy of the DOS version of Batman Returns that I have quite a lot of it to say. So I'm just kind of preparing that one.
yeah, like and like your in real life streams are really great because you talk about like you go and find people to talk about movies with. Like you go and talk to people about movies, and that's really good that you're doing that. I think that's what really it really highlights what you're good at, and your stream is always going to be about what you're best at, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of come through more experimenting more than anything because I
Yeah,
used to on YouTube I used to just kind of go into my office on my lunch breaks and then film them, and then that was a little bit harder to both maintain. So then I started recording them in my car after screenings, and that was okay. But a lot of people have done that, and so I just decided, well, you know, they don't really have much of anything like this on Twitch, so it seemed like kind of like fertile territory to test and
yeah, yeah. I
and
agree with
most of
that.
the time it's had a pretty interesting response. So I'm kind of I'm very much interested in continuing this format and trying to find ways to improve it, just to see how well it goes.
I agree with what you said about it's like fertile areas that were new. It's new on Twitch. Not a lot of people have done this. I agree with that. But yeah, so like in terms of your whole stream, I think that's gonna be a big thing for you. Your panels are great too. I would say add more pictures, like add more character to what like like a color scheme or some kind of graphic that adds to who you are. You know, like
Yeah, that's more a case of like timing and stuff like that. Because I got all like the art materials and stuff to do that. I just gotta get around to it.
yeah, okay. Again, like your panels are gonna like your panels are gonna be very important to show what kind of character you are, what kind of person you are, and a lot of it will show it. I still have to work on mine. I got to do more on mine, but um, that's like I guess I'm in the same boat as you guys. I got to get to it. But yeah,
Well, to experiment, you gotta
yeah,
test the waters and throw stuff out there. So yeah, it's all about experimenting.
yeah. And I like all the hyperlinks that you have to go to your movie review pages. your YouTube, your Twitter, all that stuff is really good. And last but not least, Oddbug. I'm gonna go check your channel out. Fairly new, right? Only 100 followers. I think is really cool that you're starting out. I can see a little bit of character with their bio and your pictures. Um, yeah, I would again add more hyperlinks. Learn how to do that with the panel editor. You can see that when you're going through that. I can help you out
Uh-huh.
with it whenever you want. Contact me. I'll help you out with it. But in the gist of things, I think your whole channel can have a lot of character with your breakdancing, and bring your breakdancing, because you have it separate. You have your breakdancing videos on one end, and then you have your video game playing on the other end. But I think you can meld the two in some way. You can really provide your audience with great content in just how you get a kill and you start dancing on it, on like on what how hyped the kill was. You kind of provide more excitement to the footage, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's like one of the things I gotta like figure out how I want to do it because like my setup right now, my PC is like it's in the kitchen of my apartment, so it's like I don't really have much room, and it's like I need to figure out like how I want to position like my cam so that way I can like position it towards like some space at the
Yeah.
same time, you know. So I think I just need to like play test around it and figure it out.
So yeah, so that's something you got to work on. Um, with your b-boy, like actual footage of you in your studio, or you, I'm not sure, like a lunchroom dancing. Um, I would say get a tripod and put your phone or your camera, whatever you're working with, on the tripod and have it aimed down towards the feet, or however you want to angle it. Having it on the floor, if you look at the footage, it's like half of the footage that we're looking at is all floor, and the rest is all like who's dancing, right? So
Hmm.
so you kind of angle it better so people can have a better viewing experience and what you're trying to, how you're trying to dance.
Yeah, it's just like because for me, like I advertise my breaking through Instagram, and most of the time I just like kind of like have it like upon like a can of soda or like a can of like an energy drink. So like it's pretty much my stand. Yeah, it's like one
There
of those
are
things I got.
there are little products like under $10 and under $10 that are stands that you can get on Amazon, that there are tripods you can get for like $10 for the tripod, maybe $5 for the little holder that you can have that extends to hold your phone, and then that you can place on like a table, or something that then you can add aim down towards where you're where you're dancing. The biggest thing I'm saying is that you can have it higher, right? Have the camera
Yeah.
higher and you can have it more on the screen. But yeah, I think just market yourself a little bit more, maybe add more to your panels, talk about
Hmm.
more about what you do, and if you have YouTube videos of you actually dancing, then put it on in your bio. Play off of your dancing more, because it's going to be very interesting for people to really look at how much you dance, and they'll say, "Wow, he dances, cool. Oh, he plays League of Legends, cool. I like that." You know,
Yeah, yeah. That definitely something I still need to experiment with because this is just like something like I know like not a lot of people actually like I know a decent amount of people that do like dancing like they have like certain like hula dancing and stuff like that like other type of dancing but like I don't really see that many people doing like break dancing and stuff on Twitch so I thought I'd give it a shot
yeah.
so
Again, guys, don't doubt what you're doing. Just do it, because you're gonna find an audience. Even if it's one person is more than zero. If it's 10 people, 10 people is more than zero. You won't get anywhere if you don't actually do like what you want to do, right? You don't actually do the work to do what you want to do. You won't have any viewers. But if you actually do stuff, you'll get at least one person watching and one person appreciating what you do. I think that's enough. So thank you guys so much. This is episode 2 of the Four Streamers podcast. I think it went really well. Um, Again, guys, if you have any questions in chat, be sure to ask. Anybody here have any further questions? Maybe comments? Do you guys want to provide? You guys want to ask? Maybe talk about the stream a little bit. How do you guys enjoy it?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been fun. I think we've had a couple of good points to talk over, and I've never actually done a podcast before. I've been asked to do one by a friend of mine, but I've never actually gotten the chance to go on. It's just by chance that this kind of lined up with my schedule. So yeah, this is the first podcast I've ever done. You've popped my podcast cherry, so thank you.
You're welcome. So how about you, Mark? Anything? Any comments?
No, just same here. It's great to be on here and chat about this. I've never been on, again, more fertile ground here. Never been on this type of stream before. So yeah, I think I think it's great to talk about this and to get exposure and to just kind of renew the desire to keep going and to keep improving on your streams, because I think that's probably the most healthiest thing we can do with this.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Shout out to everybody who's actually watching too. Shout out to you, Forward, for having this wonderful podcast and show. A lot of small streamers and every streamer, like, just doing this is like a really good experience for all of us. Also, like, this is like my first podcast too, so shout out to all of us today.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I really appreciate you having us here, and yeah, hopefully
sure.
we can all like grow more. That's part of Twitch, is growing.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming by. Guys, remember, make sure you go check out Josh Carr. I think I spelled your name wrong. There's no H in it, correct?
I was gonna say, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to be that
No,
guy.
I apologize. I was looking at your stream right now and I saw there's no H. But
It's all good, man.
Josh Carr, thank you so much. Movies with Mark, and the Odd Book. Thank you so much for coming by.